Welcome. This is Micah Fairchild, Editor-in-Chief of HRLab.com, and today we've got some Sage advice for you. Today we're talking about Sage, more specifically the Sage HRMS solution. It was listed as one of our top 10 HR management systems, but this discussion is going to be focusing on the solution's strengths, the areas of improvement, and the company direction, digging a little bit deeper. And to help me cover all that, please welcome my colleague, Chuck Schaefer, who's the CEO of Vantive Media. Welcome, Chuck. It's good to have you along for the ride today. How are you?
I've got no complaints, Micah. Thanks for having me back.
Well, I really can't think of another person better suited to talk about the Sage HRMS offering than yourself, considering their roots as an accounting company and yours as a CPA.
Yeah, before I focused my efforts on enterprise software and technology, my work as a CPA certainly exposed me to quite a few vendors like Sage. And like many of them, Sage has grown from its best-of-breed accounting software origin to include a fully developed HR system. And anyone that's kept tabs on Sage knows they continue to evolve in large part from an acquisition strategy that adds business applications to their enterprise software portfolio.
For sure. Of course, 55% of the company revenues still come from their accounting software business, but that number is definitely shrinking with these expanded efforts. Clearly, potential buyers who've seen the latest system improvements, they've been buying to the tune of 6 million customers in over 160 countries, I think. Now, granted, that's spread out over 230 different products, but still. Now, when it comes to the Sage HRMS solution, one of the things I'm particularly fond of is its Microsoft Outlook user interface. It looks like a Microsoft product. And it also happens to be both intuitive and simple to boot.
Yeah, and for the HRMS solution, it's a mature and functionally rich solution. And on the upside, if your employees are already familiar with the Microsoft user interface, then chances are training and uptake will be fairly straightforward with this Sage solution. Also, the Sage VAR channel is a valuable resource in offering local implementation support from trained and tenured Sage partners who can accelerate the deployment in conjunction with business process optimization and show customers how to use more of their application software. However, on the downside, Sage HRMS continues to need more technology refresh as compared with several other enterprise solutions on the market. The Sage user interface hasn't yet adopted consumer technologies nor fully integrated to social technologies, so in my opinion the user experience is lacking. If I transition from product to the company, an area where I am increasingly optimistic with Sage is the build-out of their customer experience efforts. Back in 2011 they set the strategic goal to improve their customer experience by increasing customer feedback opportunities and introducing their Sage Advisor program, which includes an application monitoring service that detects what users are and are not using with their Sage software. Sage is then able to use that data to make in-product recommendations so customers can better utilize their application and further increase their software investment payback.
You're definitely onto something there. They take that customer experience improvement process really seriously. And I think the last release, Sage HRMS 2012, it had a staggering 70 improvements that were driven by these customer interactions. And not surprisingly, most, or at least many, seem to be directly aimed at helping Sage's target audience, which is small businesses.
It certainly seems that way. Maybe it's no wonder then that Forrester research indicated that Sage HRMS was the leading on-premise HRMS option for companies with fewer than 1,000 employees. But with that said, I still see a number of things that need to be addressed with the Sage HRMS offering. For starters, HR software functionality is sometimes awkwardly divided in my opinion, and I think the application often winds up sacrificing user needs for artificially situated flexibility. For instance, the employee self-service is considered to be an optional module rather than part of the core package. What businesses aren't utilizing self-service applications these days? And when considering the bigger picture, because Sage Group generally acquires business software companies late in their maturity model, those acquisitions typically come with technical debt, needed product rationalization, and dated technology in need of a significant refresh. However, technology upgrades often occur at a glacial pace once in the Sage portfolio. It's one of those issues where new customers need to set their expectations for continued innovation and application advancement appropriately.
Yeah, I hear you. It seems like there are times that the development of the Sage HRMS solution, it needs to meet modern standards, and it seems like it's a company afterthought sometimes. We might not see eye to eye, obviously you and I, about Sage's user interface, but I'm sure you'd agree that their late response to SaaS technologies and their habit of buying versus building solutions has left them a bit behind the curve.
Absolutely has, and in fact, I think the entire business software industry ongoing transition from on-premise applications to software as a service and the cloud significantly threatens the M&A and business model that Sage has amassed over several decades. You know, to be candid, there's a reason that product portfolio holding companies like Sage have the reputation of being a place where old software products go to retire. And this is because they choose to acquire business software companies late in their application lifecycle that are in need of modernization and significant technology refreshes. And historically, the upgrades occur at a snail's pace, and the company manages many disparate, often outdated, and generally unintegrated applications. Sage has about 230 products. I think the continued acceleration of the cloud and software as a service will likely accelerate the retirements of many of those solutions that fail to modernize.
You know, I couldn't agree more. It seems like once these acquisitions take place, integration for synergistic value, it rarely occurs, and all you're left with is a software portfolio that's more segregated than united. And in the technology world today, it's starting to lean more towards these unified applications. That's not a good thing.
No, it's not, but let's separate the changing business model from Sage HRMS, which is an impressive application that, like all apps, has advantages and disadvantages. Aside from what we've both mentioned earlier, I'm seeing some signs of the wheels of innovation starting to slowly turn. For instance, Sage HRMS has finally eliminated the requirement for multiple logons by utilizing Microsoft Active Directory for logon management. And as you well know, being an organizational development person, Sage LMS capabilities are especially strong, which should continue to serve them well.
You know, that's a good point on the LMS, for sure. And that's actually an excellent way for us to drive home the point that just because we're critical of an application or a company, that doesn't mean that we're not excited about their products. You know, after all, Sage HRMS did end up in our top 10. So as a way for us to wrap things up, what would you say would be the target market for Sage? Who's going to benefit the most from leveraging this solution?
That's a good question. If for no other reason than with such a large customer base, Sage can seem to be somewhat all over the maps in terms of customer types. From what I've seen, the bulk of customers using Sage HRMS are SMBs, often in the vertical markets of healthcare, construction, manufacturing, accounting, and retail. But I'd also add a few other points helpful in shortlisting this solution. The tie-ins and integration that Sage has for CRM, ERP, and financials make their HRMS solution an automatic consideration for companies already leveraging Sage applications. Also, if you're a small or mid-sized business with limited scope outside of North America, for example, mainly Europe, and you're seeking an HRMS solution with similar international support, this solution should be on your evaluation list. And finally, on the other side of the coin, if your company, regardless of industry vertical, is looking for an especially innovative, best-of-breed, or native multi-tenant software as a service solution, other options beyond Sage HRMS may better suit your objectives.
Well, thanks for those pointers there, Chuck. Those are excellent points as always. And on that note, I'd say we're at a really good stopping point. So thanks for joining us for this conversation on the Sage HRMS solution, and make sure to join us next time as we continue our examination of the intersection of HR strategies, processes, and technology.